wrestling fans, and welcome to the Wrestle Talk podcast. For the next 2 hours, we will bring you the latest pro wrestling news, in-depth analysis of all your favorite promotions from across the globe, and much, much more. We will also bring you exclusive interviews with the greatest professional wrestling personalities on the local, national, and international levels. If you want to follow the Wrestle Talk podcast, check us out online at www.wrestletalkpodcast.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. And now, it's time for the reigning, defending, undisputed leader in pro wrestling podcast, the Wrestle Talk Podcast.
Good evening, wrestling fans, and welcome to the Wrestle Talk Podcast, episode 484. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are well on our way to episode number 500. I tell you, we're quickly getting there, and there's plenty of surprises being all lined up for 500. It's definitely going to be a show you don't want to miss. And in between, you don't want to miss either, because we got plenty of action for you in between. We got some great interviews. We got some great topics to discuss in between. And it just seems here lately there is always just an absolute huge weekend of wrestling. I tell you, just like this past weekend, you know, we had King and Queen of the Ring. We had the AEW pay-per-view, Double or Nothing. We had all kinds of independent shows. You know, yours truly was at AEW in Martinsburg. I'm sorry, not AEW. Mine's going too many different directions. But WDWA in Martinsburg. So, you know, just great weekend. So, you know, there is so much to talk about, so much going on. And we got Susie checking in. And we appreciate you following us on all social media. Be sure, if you don't already, be sure to check us out on all the social media. You've got the Wrestle Talk Podcast on Facebook. You've got the Wrestle Talk, or it's Wrestle Talk Cast at Wrestle Talk Cast on X, formerly Twitter. And we're on YouTube as well. So, you know, make sure you check us out on all the medias, and we absolutely appreciate you being here, no matter whether you are joining us live. And if you are, be sure to drop the comment down there. Let us know. Share this broadcast to other platforms, and, you know, just let people know about us, because we absolutely love you guys, and we thank you for being here. You know, we got another great interview lined up for you tonight. Delynn Cavens is going to be here, ladies and gentlemen. He's been in the business for about 2 years, and he's making some big waves. And he's going to be involved in an event coming up called the Purge down there in Texas, and just making absolutely big waves. So you don't want to miss that interview when he comes up. But until then, as always, we've got plenty to talk about. And I will be joined here shortly by the one and only Gabriel Arsene. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, while we wait on Gabriel to come in, we need to go ahead and take care of our housekeeping items. So let's go ahead at this time and let's recognize all those great sponsors that we've got. You know, as always, we want to thank our wonderful sponsors, Royal Mills Transportation. You got the one and only Dewan Mills with all your transportation needs. You got the Nobleman's Barber Lounge, KCMO. Ask for Pete the Barber. Kincaid Arcade at the Oak Park Mall. Interstate 70 Sports Media. That's Jeremy Karp and the guys over there absolutely killing it. You got Little Popeye's Designs where you can get your very own Wrestle Talk podcast Tumblr. If you don't have one, make sure you get one. And then we have the world's premier fantasy wrestling group, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, the FWWC. That's right, the group. If you don't know about it, be sure to check them out. Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide chapter, ladies and gentlemen, where you can get your very own championship belt should you become a championship. And that's not plastic, ladies and gentlemen. We have our own belts over there, as I am the one and only hardcore champion, longest reigning hardcore champion. So check us out with that. And yes, Susie, yes. As always, we will have Roseanne. So, still waiting on Gabe to get in here. Hopefully he'll be joining us here very shortly. But while we do wait for him to come in, let me go ahead at this time and do as we always do, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. It's that time. If you would remove your caps, place your hands over your hearts as we pay homage to the best damn country around, that being the one and only America, damn it. So let's go ahead and hit that national anthem. Oh, yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Brings a tear to your eye every time, or blood to your ears. One of the two. I have heard them both. So, as always, we appreciate you and appreciate our country. And on this weekend especially, we want to remember all those who are in the services, all those who protect us day in, day out, give us the freedoms to do what we do here, ladies and gentlemen, because without them, without the freedoms, we wouldn't be allowed to talk what we do talk, because, people would be telling us, you can only say this, you can only say that. We would not have the freedoms that we have in this country. So we definitely want to thank them for our freedoms. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I think the man is here himself. So let's go ahead and get him in here. I think he just wanted to make sure he missed Roseanne, if you ask me, because his timing just seems to be impeccable. So let's get him in here. He is the one, the only Gabriel Larcine.
Good evening, Hardcore Haas and FWWC family, Wrestle Talk podcast family. It's good to hear from everybody. And I'm going to be 100% transparent, Haas. You got me. I didn't want to hear the national anthem. I just wanted to avoid it so that I could come onto the show the way I did. But how's it been, man? I mean, it's been a while.
Aaron Wallace says it brings a tear to his eye and a big headache. So, But
trying to avoid the ibuprofen tonight.
But yeah, doing good here. Glad you could join us. You know, got a big show lined up. And how have you been there, Gabe?
I've been doing good. Work's been decent. I just picked up this little handheld console off of the TikTok shop. I gotta fix the SD card on it, but it runs a bunch of games on it. So like, I mean, I got something to play around with while I'm bored at work or at home. And I mean, a lot of stuff been happening in the world of wrestling. Definitely been keeping up with MLW. I saw some of the posts you had. Hopefully we can talk about it later. Because if we could pull up those photos, because those are pretty clean. I like those. But overall, been solid. I've been ready to talk some wrestling, that's for sure.
So, but just before we get into high spots, I mean, this could actually kind of be a high spot in itself, you know. But we talk about all the great wrestling going on and all the great things happening, you know. And I mentioned earlier, you know, that I was out this weekend at WDWA. And you know, we've been going out places. You know, we've seen Gabe corresponding from MLW. I've corresponded from WDWA, ATCW, Micro Wrestling, and I will actually be out here just a couple weeks at Micro Wrestling again. You know, so you know, what's up, Jimmy? Glad to see you checking in there. But we actually have a little video clip we want to play.
Oh, really?
And this came to us from Micro Wrestling. This actually was on their YouTube page. So we want to play this and share it with all the fans of Micro Wrestling, because I know they are very grateful for this. So
let me go ahead. Guys, I got something that I'm pretty proud of here, and I want you guys to see. And if I can get it out of this shirt. Check this out. We are recognized. YouTube sent me this in the mail because we just cracked 100,000 subscribers. That's pretty cool, right? That's pretty awesome. You guys want to
nice. Thank you guys so much for this. We love it. Thank you.
That's awesome. That's cool. Yeah, we got 100, almost 50,000.
It's a play, 100,000. That's amazing. I never thought I was going to be able to hold that in my life. Drop that,
Thank you, YouTube, for a big supporter of Micro Wrestling. As your tribal chief, we're still going. Keep climbing.
Thank you so much for all these followers and all these fans. Keep it coming.
Thank you for all your support.
Yeah. All we got to do, guys, is add one more zero, and you know what that means. And it's not hard to do, so you know what to do.
Millie!
We need that Millie.
Need a Millie! Need a Millie!
Only 999,000 more got to go.
Well, we got about 150 now. We need a Micro Millie. Hashtag Micro Millie.
I can't do math, but yeah. This means so much to us. We work so hard. Thank you so much. Keep supporting us. Keep following us. Keep, commenting. Thank you so much for your support. We love each and every one of y'all.
I think Gabriel had to pop out, but there he is. He's back, ladies.
We're back. I just had a quick change of scenery here, but I'm sorry to cut you off, Haas, but really, dude, the silver play button for Micro Wrestling, and we got the exclusive here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. Let's go.
That is absolutely awesome for them.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, and I'm trying to talk over you. That's insane. Susan Lick, thank you. Yeah, we do love those guys. We wouldn't be. It's honestly, this is the beauty of wrestling, Hardcore Haas. The fact that we promote them, they promote us. It's this natural kind of like cross-pollination that comes with having a show like this. And I just got a request, because we know that all of our fans here in the Wrestle Talk podcast are trying to get us all the way to episode 500. I want a goal for all you guys out there, since you guys helped us get as many likes as we do. Let's get Micro Wrestling that gold play button, and eventually down the line, let's get them that diamond play button. So if we have their YouTube, if we could try and link that, please. Like, I want to support them best we can. We're happy to have them, and we honestly got to try and figure out how to get one of those guys on the show here, because that'd be awesome. But
oh yeah, we've had a couple of them on the show from time to time. We've had Ivar on there. We've had the Redneck Brawler, little show, and we've also had Pinky, and so we've had some of them on here, but we're definitely looking to get some more of them on. I know Chief Littlefoot is actually wanting to come on, so we're in the works of getting that scheduled. And so it's always a good time when we have the micro wrestlers come on and talk with them. But not only do we need to try to get them their next button, we've never got our first button here on Wrestle Talk Podcast.
That is true. That is true. We got to start getting our.
Make sure you go over there.
Out there.
Yeah, make sure you go over there and click a like on our YouTube page. Let's get us one of them play buttons here, man. Come on. We love you guys, and we know you guys always love and support us. So
we got to add it to the background, man. That's clout right there.
But let's go ahead and let's cue up those high spots here real quick, because we're already almost 15. We're a little over 15 minutes in. And we haven't even gotten to the high spots yet. There's just so much to talk about. So let's go ahead and get that high spots all queued up and ready to go. And there it is.
Mic check. Yeah. All right. Wrestle Talk Podcast. DJ Money. Yeah. Let's go. Welcome to High Spots, where we pop news like player chops. We dog shop, coming through the screens of a laptop. And non-stop like a runner's speeches of blacktop. We hit hard like chair shots and backdrops. Like a spark flash, look like a barely fly. Now that's hard. We up to speed while they stay slow. Wrestle Talk Podcast, now they know. We about to start the show.
All right. Well, obviously it is time for that high spots, and we got Renee checking in. He says the micro boys were out there in Kansas City this past weekend.
Hashtag Wrestle Talk Podcast, micro wrestling. Hashtag Let's Talk Wrestling, folks. We got to push that out there. But man, Night Owl, it's good to hear from you, brother. And we love to hear from these guys, right? Assad, hello, Wrestle Talk Podcast family. Good to have you, man. But let's jump into this high spots. Gabe said I'm looking clean tonight. Thank you very much.
Said, looking clean. So
I'm wishing I could look as clean as yours, if we're being honest here. You got the NWO lunchbox, but we can talk more about that in a sec. If you want to throw us to our first high spots question here, Hardcore Haas, we get into it.
All right, let's see if I can get that randomizer working. They have a tendency to break this thing from week to week, and so hopefully they didn't break it last week. It's been a few weeks since I've been on the show, so I've had to work on it a few times, but let's see what happens here. Ooh, so we're going to start with Mark Henry already. Let's see here. We got to find the question. So many questions here. There it is. According to his personal statement on Busted Open Radio, Mark Henry's AEW contract will expire today. Does he go back to WWE or elsewhere? And does he compete or stay behind the microphone? Gabe, you wanna take a shot at that one?
I think I will. I feel like, well, I'm going to try and answer this in pieces. So does he compete? I don't know that he should. Not saying that he can't go. I'm sure we can get a Legends run out of this man in the future, but I'll be honest, I appreciate what he's doing right now for the business. I like that he's sort of the, an on-screen presence, but probably like a locker room, and just to have like a veteran there. I feel like it helps to have him. But Do I see him going back to WWE? To answer it simply, I don't know that he will. I mean, I know we had a couple of, announcements about like the Velveteen Dream situation. I don't know that he wants to rep that hardly. Like, I don't know if he's going to be the one to expire his AEW contract just to go. So I just think he works a lot better for AEW. So, but I think he should stay behind the microphone. I guess it's one of those things, Haas, if I can try to put it in layman's terms. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I feel like he's doing exactly what he needs to do, and all these options are on the table. But I also think it's just sort of you're good where you're at, bro, and I appreciate where he's at. But that's just me. If you want to throw it on to you there, Haas, what do you think?
Honestly, I think it's pretty well been established. I don't think he's going to go back to AEW. But I don't see him stepping back in the ring. At least not as a full-time competitor. So I tend to think he may sign a Legends deal with WWE, but I don't think we're going to see him in a full capacity. If anything, I believe he would stay behind the microphone and maybe do a few spots here and there. But I think it's mostly going to be a Legends deal with WWE is mostly what you're going to see with him. But that's just my my opinion. And Night Owl said that this man has an eye for talent. He found Jade Cargill.
Look where she is at right now.
And that's true. And Assad thinks it's time for main event Mark Henry.
I would give for that. I'll throw this out there just since we're humoring the idea and this is all hypothetical and it's up in the air. Maybe not as an on-screen talent, or let me clarify, maybe not as an on-screen competitor, but on-screen talent. So just to throw this out there, manager Mark Henry.
There you go. I think that could work. I just don't see him as a full-time talent. Susie seems to think that they make a joke of him and they misuse him. And I think to a certain extent, he was misused in WWE.
I think he had some things that we could definitely sit here and talk about. I mean, we all remember the hand, right? Just to throw that out there. But we're not going to pretend like they didn't book him well when they did, because let's be honest, the Hall of Pain was pretty sick. That's just me, though. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it just seems like it's up in the air, and we'll see where the chips fall where they may. But, wherever he goes, I think he will be welcome. I think that much is true.
If he doesn't go back to, if he doesn't get a Legends deal with WWE, I would look for him to show up in TNA. That seems to be a lot of the place a lot of people are showing up lately is in TNA.
I would dig it.
And Night Owl says, hate to disgrace. He can't fill the MVP role. He just doesn't got the mic skills.
I don't know that he has to be a mic skills guy, though. I think, and if anything, I think you're underselling him, Night Owl. I think he does have the mic skills, and he just needs the opportunity. But if anything, nobody says he had to pick up a microphone. He could be the manager who just gets shit done. He could be the muscle.
And Assad is all for TNA. So
you know what? Let's throw that out there. Mark Henry, I want to see you in TNA.
So I could see him showing up there. So just remember, if he does, you heard it here first.
Wait, we called it.
So, all right, let's go ahead and let's see what else this randomizer has for us. If I'm not the one that broke it this time. All right, let's see. So we have double or nothing. And the question is, I know there's a question here somewhere. Double or Nothing saw 2 titles change hands, with Mercedes Moné winning the TBS Championship and Will Ospreay winning the International Championship. Was this too expected? You know, in my opinion, there was no, once that it was decided, and I don't think there was mystery to who was going to win that. When you've got a name like Will Ospreay, and with Mercedes Moné, I think if there wasn't already programs in the works when she first came in, she probably would have won it right off the bat rather than being there, a month or two before winning it. I don't think it was a mystery as to who was going to win with those. So I think those were very predictable. But don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they don't deserve to hold a title. When you got names like that, you got to use them. And, that's what they brought them over there for, was to bring more eyes to the company and I think hanging titles on them will definitely do that. So,
I mean, I'm glad you mentioned that. And if I could go off of what you're saying, they have the talent. It was really a question when we knew Moné and Ospreay showed up in AEW. Titles were never in question. It was when, not if, just when it was going to happen. And to answer the question, was this expected? Yes, but it's wrestling. Sometimes if something is obvious, it's because that's how it should go. And I'm looking at all of you. I'm talking to every single wrestling fan watching this or not watching this, because I'm sick of people acting like predictability is a bad thing. Just like what happened with King of the Ring. It ain't just AEW, folks. Stop acting like it's AEW. I'm going to be pointing at can we get like me pointing at the screen today counter? But I'm serious when I say this, folks. If something is obvious, it's probably because it's correct. Because not only does this set up 2 really big contenders with titles, and this boosts the titles up, because you're not going to look at me and tell me that the TBS title and the international title aren't going to gain some esteem from this, especially in Ospreay's case. Because remember when Cassidy had it and he was all over the globe, he wasn't just fighting in AEW. Now we get that for Ospreay. And then we're getting Moné on TV. And say what you want about her. I've said plenty. She's money. And you want your money on TV. So that's where I'm at with this, Haas. I mean, I'll be honest. Was anybody surprised? No, but that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy the pay-per-view for what it was. So for those of you acting like this is a bad thing, you're lying. You're just lying.
But while we're talking about Moné and everything, there is another question here, and I don't want to break the randomizer, but I'm going to skip right to it if I can find it here.
There's no rules. That's the only rule.
Let's see, it's here somewhere. Here it is. In an interview with Ringer.com, Mercedes Moné actually made a statement and said she is the greatest women's wrestler of all time, 100%. And that is in quotes. That was the statement. Do you agree with that statement? Do you think she is the best women's wrestler of all time, or do you think she's a little above her raisin saying that?
See, this is where I have to be like a contrarian on this, because I was just singing her praises 5 seconds ago, and then you got to put me under a microscope, huh? But to be fair, this is a bold-ass claim for somebody like her. Now, I don't know that I believe she's the best wrestler or the best women's wrestler of all time yet, but you can't knock her resume. When you think about women's wrestling, and you think about wrestling for women in the past 20 years, and you think about all the people that have cycled through WWE, or even just the accomplishments of people who left, how many people do what Mercedes Moné did and are sticking it as best she can right now? How many people do you know on the roster right now in WWE? Because I know everybody wants to act like she's not all that. How many of them could leave on the way that she did, go to New Japan the way she did, go to AEW the way she's doing right now? Do I think she's the absolute tippy top, like number 0? Debatable. Do I think she's in contention for greatest women of all time? Yes. But that's just me beating around the bush. Your thoughts, Haas, and I'm sure we can build off of what the popular majority is here in the comments section right now. David E.O., and welcome to the show, by the way, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, the majority is definitely saying they don't think she's the best of all time. And honestly, to me, that to say that you are the best of all time is kind of a conceited statement. And in all honesty, it's hard to measure who is the best of all time or the greatest of all time. It's just like, I know we're a wrestling podcast, but let's take it and look at football for a second. Yeah, so many people say Tom Brady was the greatest of all time. And in his era, he was a damn good quarterback, don't get me wrong. But let's put him back in the days when you could really hit a quarterback and you were going to be in his face and take him down and you weren't going to get roughing the passer for it. Would he have been as great in that era as he is now? There are so many changes in every sport through the years, and wrestling's no exception. You look at wrestling back in the days of, Fabulous Moolah and some of them, wrestling has evolved, and some of them may not be able to do today what some of the women do. But to say you're the greatest of all time is kind of a bold statement, and it's hard to measure because of the differences. And I would say that, no, she's not the greatest of all time. She is good, and she is one, and I'll even go out on a limb and say she's one of the best for this era. But
asterisks.
Right. The greatest is a stretch.
Yeah. Well, and then not to, dwell on it, but that's the reason I had said in contention. Because the thing is to sit here and act like she's the obvious answer. Because we have a lot of wrestlers where people can debate, well, what makes them good, what makes them one of the greatest. Like when we're talking about the opposite side of the spectrum for men's wrestling, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, AJ Styles. Like when you think about their accomplishments and you think about the people who understand, you could make a case for all three. But in the cases of people like Charlotte, as much as I'm not the biggest fan of her, you can't deny what she does. She does back it up. Becky, for sure. Bayley, especially in terms of longevity. Even just talking about the 4 horsewomen in general, there's a bit of a discrepancy, I think we can both agree on that. So we'll see where this goes as far as Moné is concerned with AEW. But knowing how she carries herself this way, I'm sure she does it. I'm sure she's all alone on her pedestal without people like us. So.
So, it seems to be a general consensus, though, that no, she is not the best of all time. So that seems to be the general. So let's go ahead and see what else we got going on in here, because there is just so much to talk about. And that's part of what's taking so long to get those questions up, is there are just so many great questions in that randomizer tonight. Going through them all and finding it is a challenge. So, and Owen says she wouldn't make it on Wrestling Mount Rushmore. So, it seems to be the consensus that it is
definitely
what it is.
Seems to be the consensus here in the Wrestle Talk podcast comment section.
So, let's go ahead and see what the randomizer's got now. Ooh, so Cody and Logan Paul. Let's see here. Cody may have won the match at King and Queen of the Ring, but who was the true winner, Cody or Logan Paul? And whoops, you mind if I go ahead and hit this one?
Help yourself, man.
And my opinion on this, don't get me wrong, Cody got the 1, 2, 3. Cody won this match. You know, he's got it in the books. And I am not a Logan Paul fan, and you know, but it was one hell of a match, and I really think Cody did one hell of a job putting Logan Paul over in this match. And I think Logan's stock has gone way up after this match. And so I think that Logan gained more from this match than Cody did by winning the match. Just, the athleticism and I mean, yes, we always knew that Logan Paul was athletic, but
athletic. Come on, man.
Just the whole match as a whole, it just catapulted Logan Paul to a whole new level, in my opinion. So I think Logan came out as a winner in this match, even though Cody got the 1, 2, 3. He may have lost, but in the end, he won a lot more than what it was to actually win, if that makes sense.
It does. And to build off of that and to kind of transition into my answer, you want to know who I think won, Haas? The audience. Because
yes.
I'm on the warpath tonight. I'm looking at every single one of y'all who want to try and complain. This is the new hashtag I want to get out here, courtesy of Gabriel Arsen on the Wrestle Talk podcast. Hashtag just love wrestling, folks. Because anybody who's going to sit here and tell me, oh, we knew that he wasn't going to win the belt, yada, 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 whatever. You mean to tell me that this is where we're at in Triple H's WWE here in the year of our Lord 2024, all right? When did we ever give a shit about Saudi Arabia? I don't mean that like in the literal sense. I mean for the pay-per-view sense. So don't take that out of context. But like for me, even if the ending was determined, these dudes tore the freaking house down. And like you said, Haas, it catapulted Logan. Whether or not he was in contention for the World Heavyweight Championship or a world title down the line was, I feel like it was kind of in. Thank you, David. Yes, share that out, folks. Just love wrestling. But whether or not he was in contention, I feel like now he's in the conversation. I feel like now we can actually have that discussion, because before I feel like people were like, yeah, United States champion, maybe just keep him there. Will he really be a world champion? Probably not. I know he had the match with Roman, but that really felt like it was going to be padding his match. Now, seeing him on this level to go this long with Cody Rhodes of all people. I don't care if you planned the match step by step, if they called it in the ring, whatever. Different strokes for different folks, especially when we're talking about wrestling. The audience won that night. Logan won that night. And quite frankly, I think I won that night because it was fantastic. I loved it. I enjoyed it more than anybody I think probably did. But I don't know. I mean, I could see him being a world champion down the line, especially for this. At the very least, give him till next year. Give him that money in the bank. Oh, people are going to hate this dude. They're going to hate it.
And you mentioned his shot against Roman. A lot of Logan's title matches, no matter what level they were at, you look at it and they've been more, at least in my mind, they've been more of like one of his YouTube things, than they have been a match. They've been more of a show. He's brought in, his cronies and everything else. And yeah, there were people who were trying to help from the outside and stuff in this one. But to me, it didn't seem as much of a show as what Logan normally puts on. It was more of a match.
Yeah, it felt more wrestling than, celebrity. I figure is what you mean, right? Yeah,
Right.
I agree. Especially because they worked with it. I think it was the buildup, the fact that we knew the brass knuckles got involved. It kind of, I call it the Chekhov's gun of wrestling. When we know what's going on, and then we see it later on in the match, and it happens, and it has an influence. Not to mention, this dude took a vertebreaker. All right, if you're not going to give him at least a single rose for that, you can kiss my ass. Because I'm sorry, any right-standing man doing a fucking vertebreaker in 2024, you got to give him something, and he took it. He took it and ran with it, folks. So I cannot wait to see this man defend his title come SummerSlam, because he's doing miracles for that United States Championship. And if you think otherwise, I'm sorry, you're stupid. No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be this guy. I'm the heel tonight, I guess.
Yeah, like I say, I'm not a Logan Paul fan, and it's not just because he plays a heel in WWE. You know, I wasn't a Logan Paul fan before he was in WWE.
That's fair.
But you know, I have to give him his flowers here. You know, it's just he really did a hell of a job in that match, and he was really put over in that match, and it was just I was surprised at what I saw. I really was, and I think it was a great match. So.
See, you heard it here, folks. If Hardcore Haas can admit it, you can admit it, even if you don't want to admit it to the world. You don't got to say it out loud. I'm not saying you got to go on every single social media platform you have, but just come on.
Yeah, exactly like Owen's saying. You know, when he first came in, he was dumb, and Cena actually put in the work. He's a hell of a wrestler, and he earned Owen's respect, and that's exactly right.
Because that's the thing.
After that match, how could he not have the respect? You know,
absolutely.
And I'm one of them. If I don't like you, I don't like you.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean,
so if Haas is willing to budge on this, folks, then you know that Logan's putting in that work, and that's work with an E.
Now, if you ever get me to budge like that on CM Junk, you're really doing something.
We're not drinking Pepsi. We're drinking Coke. If you catch my drift.
So, all right, let's see what else the randomizer has. We got a little bit of time left here. We do have our guest for the night in the back, so we'll be bringing him in here in a little bit. I don't know. I've sent the links to Perry and I sent them to Dewan, so I don't know if either of them will be joining us here within the next few minutes. But let's go ahead and hit that randomizer one more time and see what we got, because like I say, there is so much there. Let's see
just
what
before
it comes
we do,
up.
If anything, I know we have at least one announcement in regards to the FWWC. If Dewan can't make it, do you mind if I take the lead on it, just so we can, and then maybe you can put like a screenshot of it up so we can try and at least cover it and, you know, get a little bit of coverage if we can?
I don't think I have the poster ready to put up. I have seen the one I think you're talking about, because I was figuring if Dewan didn't come, we'd have mentioned it anyway. But yeah, so
we'll knock this question out first, then we'll get on to it. All right?
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
All right. MJF. So MJF returned at Double or Nothing. Are you interested to see where this goes, or could you care less that MJF has returned? Your thoughts, sir?
I gotta be honest, I'm pretty bloody excited, folks. I could barely contain myself. I had a feeling MJF was not going to leave. I'm not trying to say I was right. I'm just glad to have not been wrong, because I think he works best in AEW. And I feel like if anybody's going to really give us the ratings we want to see, give us the storylines we want to see, and give us the promos we want to see, because that I don't care if everybody says he shilled out and said Vince McMahon. Nobody could do it with the cadence that MJF did. All right, because MJF like you said, made MJF. He made that promo. But what were you going to say?
That was awesome. You know, out of that whole 10-minute promo, I think those 30 seconds where he said that were the absolute best of that whole promo. You know, where he just said, you know, he didn't have a New Japan. He didn't have a Vince McMahon. What made MJF was MJF. And I loved it so much. I actually did snip that part out, and I had it uploaded to show on here, but I was warned there may be copyright infringement on it, and I don't want to get us silenced. So I don't think I'll hit that, even though it is uploaded. But you know, just
well, then
this
is the call to action. Watch it. If you haven't watched it yet, folks, I don't even care if you haven't touched AEW for the past 3 months. Watch it. It was good.
I tell you, I've been watching AEW here and there. I haven't been religiously watching it. I used to watch it every show, every week. And there's just so much wrestling, it's hard to keep up with. But after that MJF promo, I'm going to have to pay more attention. I really am.
Trust me. I'm trying to watch Double or Nothing, I'll be honest. I know they're terrible.
And you know, that brings up a follow-up question real quick, because
did you want to bring it?
There was another question, and
it's clear we're both on the same page when it comes to this, that we definitely are excited to see where this goes, especially in the Adam Cole case. But
you know, I do have a couple pictures to go along with this question, so that you can see the comparison, because our own Luke Roberts brought this follow-up question to the table. Is this look of MJF the MJF look or the Triple H look? Now, that may be a little confusing to some people, but
the denim on denim.
This is the MJF look.
Yep.
From Double or Nothing.
What a way to ruin a jean jacket.
There's the Triple H look.
Well, then can I take the lead on this question, because I have the only answer, okay? And I don't care if I'm going to sound like a mark for this, all right? Love the Triple H return that everybody remembers that look from. But just throwing it out there, it's in the namesake, it's in the rhetoric. MJF did it better. This is his look, because unlike Triple H, everybody knew he was coming back when that promo happened, when that return was. So I feel like there was that built-in, oh man, Triple H is coming back and we're going to see that. Nobody saw MJF coming, comes back rolling up like this, and then cuts that fire-ass promo. He made this look his. Sorry, H. Not sorry. It's the MJF look from here on out, and he's got the tattoo to show for it. But what are your thoughts, Haas? I mean, do you think he bit Triple H's style a little too hard here?
I think there definitely is a similarity between the two looks. So I don't know he was intentionally trying to copy Triple H's style, but it definitely is a very, very close. So, you know, okay, but yeah, so they are very close in the two looks, and I don't think he's trying to copy him, though. I think it was probably accident that they look so similar. And,
if anything, I feel like he did it on purpose. Just to be like, hey, look, I'm not going to WWE, but I'll wear an outfit from it.
Owen thinks he did it to show Triple H respect, and that could be. And Owen says that he said that Triple H is on the Mount Rushmore. So, yeah, he may have been showing respect to Triple H with it. And and I could see that, because even though he sat there and said, he didn't need a Vince McMahon, and kind of tried to put a slap in the face to WWE, I think he probably has a respect for Triple H, because most people do.
I agree. I think he was just trashing on McMahon, not WWE as a whole, and certainly not Triple H if we're getting into it. At least, I mean, that's just me, but I'm glad you agree.
So, all right. Well, we got about maybe 10 minutes or so before we bring Cvens on, and he is in the back and hopefully enjoying those green M&Ms that he requested, as long as you didn't forget to put them in the dressing room again.
Next question.
But so let's go ahead and I don't see Perry in the back, so I don't know if he's going to make it. But you're here, I'm here, and so we can talk a little FWWC. And for those who don't know, the FWWC is the Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide Chapter. There's fantasy football, there's fantasy baseball, all these fantasy sports out there. But there's crazy people like myself and Gabe and several others who we absolutely love wrestling. And I know for myself, I can't step in a wrestling ring. I have, certain physical ailments that prevent me from being in a ring. But I love wrestling. I would love to be able to do wrestling. But why can't I cut promos and stuff like that without actually getting in the ring and getting physical? I can. And I can do it in the world of fantasy wrestling. And we go out, we cut promos on each other, we cut each other back and forth, and we have matches where we actually role play the matches on our Facebook page on Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide Chapter. And we have our own titles. And if you're lucky enough to win one of those titles, it is mailed to you.
It ain't even about luck, Haas, if you're man enough to win one of these titles. Because let's talk it from here. Longest reigning hardcore champion. Ain't nobody pulling that off of you. So if you think you got a chance to take it off of them, you're more than welcome to give it your shot. But in all honesty, yes, the FWWC, the Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide Chapter, it's a very, very amazing group of individuals that work hard to sort of act as an outlet for pro wrestling fans. That we may joke that we're crazy, but I think the word passionate is appropriate. I think a lot of these people just love wrestling down to its roots for whatever reason, whether you grew up in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, whether you watched ECW, Ring of Honor, the man of the FWWC, Susie Haas. Well, you're international champion, so just saying. But yeah, no, just to throw it out there. I mean, we have lots of, opportunities for people. This is an opportunity for people like, say if you never had a chance in wrestling, or just if you always wanted to, but never knew where to really start, or even just you're throwing your hat in the ring and seeing what sticks. This is a very fun group of individuals. We try to enjoy ourselves. There's a lot of, storylines happening at once. I mean, I want to throw this out there, Haas. Did we want to touch base on what happened recently, or did we just kind of want to leave it up in the air as far as the FWWC is concerned? Because, okay.
Well, if you've been following the FWWC, you know that, Dewan Mills and the CEO and Almata Rata has gone back and forth, and Dewan challenged him, and Dewan showed up at one of Almata's places and got his leg broke by Cairo. And there was a lot of supposed sealed paperwork that was legal paperwork And
let's just say the CEO got his notice. In the mail.
Yeah, CEO had been suspended.
Yeah.
And now CEO has been served with court papers. So for those who don't know, hang on one second.
And I just want to throw this out there as somebody who is currently under Almata. This man is calculated, folks. Never underestimate him, okay? Because he's the only guy who will get you to come to him to make a move, and then Almata's the only man I know who can break your leg and sue you.
So for those who don't know, we got a little breaking news, I believe. So this Thursday night on the FWWC Tonight, we will have Wrestler Court, ladies and gentlemen. And we will be seeing the one and only CEO, Dewan Mills, on trial, where he will be defended by our world's champion, Remy Ricks, and the special prosecutor will be the one and only Julius Cairo. So that should be quite interesting. Make sure that you tune in to make sure you tune in to the FWWC Tonight to catch that special Wrestler's Court. Owen says he's like Beetlejuice. Don't say his name 3 times or he'll show up.
He's not behind me, is he?
So,
but with one last word on that, folks, for that Wrestler Court, as always, viewer discretion is advised.
Definitely.
A lot of mudslinging, let me tell you, because we got a whole. I'm saying the CEO right now, he's hotter than a $2 pistol. So,
you know what? One thing for sure, and of course, we will have Judge El Matas on the bench, and Remy's the best defense attorney around. So, but anyway, one thing for sure, that night I will be on the boards, and I might have to keep my finger on the button to pull some people off the screen because it is liable to get heated, I tell you.
Yeah, trust me. These 4 gentlemen in a room, it's going to be. I don't even know if El Mata is going to have enough to to stop CEO with knowing that Cairo's his prosecutor. So we're going to need some. Can we get some? What do they call them? The guards that they have in them, the officers. We're going to need the lawman in there to keep everybody from throwing chairs around the room.
So that should be interesting, ladies and gentlemen. But as I say, we do have Cvens in the back. We're going to bring him on here in just a few minutes. But before we bring him on, I did just get a bit of news in the world of WWE. So let's go ahead and break that news right here, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. Just announced on NXT tonight, ladies and gentlemen, there is going to be a match at NXT Battlegrounds where you will see the one Roxanne Perez going one-on-one against Jordan Grace. That should be one hell of a match to see Jordan Grace against Roxanne Perez.
Now, I need to ask, is Jordan, I haven't kept up with her. Was she still under contract with TNA or did she leave?
I thought she still had the TNA title, to be honest, but I actually haven't been able to keep up with it the way I want to either.
Let's see if I'm going to try it. Here, hold on. Let me see if I can find anything.
But to hear that she is coming and to WWE once again and going to be going against Roxanne Perez, that should be
I think
one
she's
hell
still
of a match.
I think she might still be signed. I have to double check, but if that's the case, then let's be honest here, Haas. Are we seeing TNA and WWE make history to team up? We just might be. That's going to be a weird instance, though, because we got Nick Nemeth in TNA. So is he going to go by Nick Nemeth if he wrestles here?
Well, but also remember, this is not the first time TNA and WWE have teamed up, because, you know, you saw Jordan Grace
back in the Royal Rumble.
The Royal Rumble. You saw last year's Royal Rumble. Saw why did her name just go out of my mind? She was the former WWE. Yes, Nikki James. Saw her come in with the TNA women's title, just as you did Jordan Grace at the Royal Rumble before. So we have seen this crossover before, but this is the first time I can think of that we're seeing an actual match, not just a Rumble, an actual match with the TNA Women's Champion. That I don't know. I just got word of the match, and you know, I felt that was something we need to throw out there, because that is big time news. No matter whether it's for title or not, it's going to be a big time match.
Well, and much like earlier in the program, you heard it here first, FWWC Wrestle Talk podcast family. We always try to stay up to date on the news here in pro wrestling. We got our fingers on the pulse,
so definitely you're going to have to DVR NXT next week and go back and watch that match, because all eyes, of course, will be on the Wrestle Talk podcast. So, you know, NXT is secondary to us, of course. We'd like to think so anyway. And Night Owl says that is some big news. Big news. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get ready to get Cvens in here. But before we do, let's hit those sponsors one more time, because we would not be here without our sponsors and our great fans. So thank you guys for being here with us. No matter if you're checking us out live or the replay, we're just always glad to know that you're checking us out. Be sure to share the broadcast, you know, share it with others, share it on other platforms. Check us out, YouTube, X, Facebook. You know, be sure to click a like. Get us one of those play buttons. You know, we need one. But definitely we got to thank our wonderful, wonderful sponsors, as always. The one and only Royal Mills Transportation, Dewan Mills, with all your transportation needs in the Kansas City area. Nobleman's Barber Lounge, KCMO. Kincaid Arcade out there at the Oak Park Mall in Kansas City. Interstate 70 Sports Media. Jeremy Carp and those guys over there absolutely killing it. Little Popeyes Designs, where you can get your very own Wrestle Talk podcast tumbler. You know, if you don't have one, shame on you. Be sure to get your Wrestle Talk podcast tumbler. They keep your drink cold, and it tastes so much better coming out of that. I believe the science said 45% better. I could be a little off. And of course, the FWWC, the world's premier fantasy wrestling group. So always got to hit those wonderful, wonderful sponsors.
Wouldn't be here without them.
So, and Renee is right. The Night Owl is absolutely right that I know this interview is going to be something special, and Cvens is absolutely going to kill it. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I would like to welcome in a man who's been in professional wrestling for about 2 years now. He has held multiple titles within that 2-year reign. He has been the WAW Workhorse Champion, the DFW Tag Team Champion, MPX Tag Team Champion. He's also held the MPX Addicts Championship, and at the Purge, you will see him going for I believe it is television championship. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome in at this time the one and only Delynn Cavens.
What's going on? Hello.
Hello.
Cavens. Oh my God.
Coming out, man.
Yeah, I'm out and about, bro. Been waiting in the green room for about hours, man. I've been looking for all these green M&Ms that they were telling me about, dude. Come on. I was promised green M&Ms.
I promise I got the ship. I'll get them shipped to your hotel room in just a month.
So, Cavens, it's wonderful.
That's all that matters, man. Hey, look, at least I got the Dr. Pepper, bro. You got me good there.
So,
see, I'm not entirely useless.
Good to be here.
So, you started off about 2 years ago in professional wrestling, I believe you told us.
Started off about 2 years ago in professional wrestling, I believe
and
you told us.
If someone had told you, I think there's a bit of a lag there. But if somebody had told you that there's, back when you were say 10 years old or 5 years old, that you would become in the professional wrestling and you would have all these accolades within 2 years, would you have believed it? What would you have thought if somebody had told you that back then?
I mean, I gotta say, back then, man, I was just a kid with nothing more than a handful of dreams, man. I always had when it came to myself, a very low self-esteem. So if you would have told me that, I would have just thought it was a sick prank or a sick joke. But as I've proven myself wrong, man, within 2 years, I really jumped in head first into this business. And in doing so, I received so many great opportunities that led me to pursue a career in professional wrestling, and opportunities that would, then lead on to me, of course, winning all of the championships that you just mentioned. So if 10-year-old me were to find out that I've accomplished all of this within a span of 2 years in the business, I'm pretty sure he would think you're smoking rocks, my guy.
I could see where that would be a shock to anybody back then, in their younger years. So I know that you have another event coming up called the Purge, and I believe you have. There it is.
There it is.
A threat match that has just recently been announced, I believe. So, what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, man. Simply put, a couple weeks back, I competed against former MPX champion Carter Wright, in which the winner would go on to the Purge to pretty much challenge the non-binary nightmare, the warlord of the wastelands, Max the Impaler, for the NWA Television Championship. And I just learned recently, not too long ago, that in my absence, somehow Erica Torres, the American Witch, found a way to wiggle her way into this match as well, which now makes this a triple threat. So not only now do I have to deal with the American Witch, Erica Torres, along with Tony Snow, most likely, but now we have to deal with this absolute beast, this just massive ball of destruction and chaos, Max the Impaler, who, by the way, has already pretty much just they've unified the television titles, and they've left like a wake of devastation, not only in the States but in Japan as well, in case nobody else has noticed. So that's what I have to look forward to. That's what I have to face going head first into the Purge. So I have a lot on my plate. You know, anyone can look at that graphic that you just posted and pretty much look at me as the underdog, pretty much, right? Erica has Tony. Max the Impaler pretty much is a weapon themselves. I just have myself. You know, I have to rely on my skill and talent to get me through the threshold and hopefully the NWA television title.
Now, before we throw it on to our next question, Cavens, I wanted to ask, we have a bit of an echo on your end. Do you have a pair of headphones you might be able to use at all that we could use just to see if that changes anything? We're kind of hearing it. It's a delay. So it's like I can hear my voice as I'm talking. So I don't know.
I don't believe I do. I recently just lost my headphones, my guys. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, we'll just try to roll with it. Okay, that'll work actually better.
Yeah, we can just try to mute the mic in between while we're talking, and then you can unmute it when you're talking. If
live broadcast, folks. But we're moving on from there. So to build off of that, with the triple threat match, you have the opportunity now where you don't necessarily have to beat Max in order to win. You know, you can pin the non-champion as a factor, but that also means that I think you have to watch out for your back, because do you think that big's a bigger target onto yours? And do you think your opponents have that in mind? And I guess I want to add to that. Do you think you can use that to your advantage, or do you think you just want to take the belt from them, you know, flat out? You know, are you more of an opportunist, or would you say you're more of a fighter in this situation?
That's actually an excellent point you brought up, Gabriel. And yeah, I think that actually will have to be like, at least I have to consider that to at least be a go-to. I don't necessarily have to pin Max in order to be successful in becoming champion. But yes, as you said, you know, I'm kind of the underdog going in. Any one of those two could look at me and see me as easy pickings to either, you know, for Max to retain, or for Erica to, again, like, become television champion. So I think that just makes it's a gift and a curse. It opens the door, but it can potentially shut it. Best case scenario, I'm gonna have to keep my head on the swivel, and hopefully the opportunity does arise that will, you know, lead me to it. You know, if I have to, whether it's Max the Impaler or Erica Torres, same goal, and that's to walk out with the gold.
And now I wanted to kind of touch base on, some of your past accolades, former tag team champion, former singles champion. As somebody who's, still getting their foot into the business, which do you find is more difficult? Do you find having to rely on yourself in most wrestling matches in order to get an opportunity for a workhorse championship? Or do you find that it's difficult to be in a tag team? Because, I know a lot of people tend to clash. You get two type A personalities where they can make it work for a night, but they can't make it work for a title run. So, do you find tag team championships and, any former partners, did you have any animosity towards? Tell us a little bit more about
that. That has kept up with me knows that when it comes to tag teams, I am successful, but ultimately my tag teams never last long. There's always one person in the group, who has a bigger ego than the other, and it's gonna lead to the team's downfall ultimately. With that being said, I have no qualms with being a tag team wrestler. But again, the chemistry has to be there. The bond has to be stronger than any ego or any anything else. I've had partners down the list. Demo Diamond, Jet Black. That have unfortunately turned their backs on me and kind of left me high and dry. Yeah, in my case, I'm guessing it's probably best that I stay to myself, and just and do what's best for my interest. Or I could keep going down this tunnel, and hopefully I do find friends that aren't gonna push me to the side when push comes to shove. Like 325, DL Hartley, or my main bro, my problem child, man.
that.
I want to be the best. I want to be the greatest, the most successful, whether I am in a singles run or in a tag team run, which is why I have held multiple titles in those aspects.
Did you have another one you want to throw out there, Hardcore Hoss, or do you mind if I take one more real quick before I bounce it back to you?
Go ahead.
Well, Cvens, I want to mention your tag. It says "He who shall be named." Excuse me. I'm going to get that correct. We're not confusing you with Lord Voldemort. No discrepancy with that. But I want to ask, since I'm still new to your career, where did that moniker come from? How did you come up with that, and what does that mean to you? And what do you want that to mean to wrestling fans, and how do you convey that as a wrestler? Because I feel like people, when they come up with that sort of mantra, that thing that they tell themselves in their heads, that not only that they believe it, but they want the audience to believe, who is he who shall be named? What should we know about Cvens and what that means?
Yeah. Well, man, my goal, bro, is to become, not just, a name or a great name in this business, but like the greatest name to ever be, mentioned in the business, So whenever I step foot, out of that curtain, man, I'll yell my name, man, to the top of the roof, to anyone that can hear it, because I believe genuinely in my heart that, I'm the greatest, my name holds weight, therefore I want everyone from the front row to the back to scream it with me. I'll yell Cavens, they'll yell it back. Hopefully one day, and we get to that point, bro, to where like whether it's in New Japan, Impact, WWE, that stadium is just going to be filled with other people who see it, who sees all the hard work that I'm trying to put in, who knows that that I am just who I say I am each time I go out there and I step foot between those ropes. that, I am he who shall be named, so wherever I go, just know that, my name along with that beautiful silhouette emoji is going to come with, because my name holds weight.
Weight and gold. But just throwing it back to you, Haas, and then I'll get a couple questions here at the end, just to follow up on
that. So, obviously, ourselves as well as everybody else, we're getting to know Cvens and getting to learn about your career. But then we also know that there is a person behind Cvens. And so what's something that the world should know about you as a person, not just the wrestler in the ring, but as an actual person?
I just believe that, me as a person, for about as long as I can remember, I've just always been to myself, in the shadow. I've been a background character in my movie, so this business, my dreams of being a professional wrestler has given me the outlet, the platform to just like really just showcase who I am on the inside, who's been hiding all this time. Anyone who would probably see me in the past or, outside wouldn't guess that, I'm capable of, what I'm doing now. So, growing up, I never thought that I would, have a shot at something such as great as this to pursue my dreams. So, I'm just hitting the ground running. I'm going to take the ball as far as I can take it, and I'm going to prove to, everyone who's been behind me, who's been on my side, who has helped me get to where I am now, that, their faith and trust hasn't been, misplaced, to a sense, I'm just betting on myself here. So, yeah, just a butterfly just breaking out of his cocoon.
Okay. And then we have a couple different hosts on the show. One of our hosts that couldn't be here with us tonight is the Night Owl, Renee Martinez. And he threw a couple of questions here in the comments. So, and if any of our fans have questions they'd like to ask, feel free to throw them out in the comments. We'd love to pull them up and let Cvens answer. But
can we get a couple of Cvens in the chat too, by the way?
Renee wants to know, what part of your game do you most hope to polish throughout the rest of 2024?
Part of my game, I just want to, get better in general, man. Whether that's my performance in the ring, my agility, my speed, my athleticism, or whether it's, not more so in that role, like a better talker, if you will, I want to get better at conveying my thoughts and feelings to the crowd on the microphone. So that's the end game. I want to be better than I was yesterday, if not better than I was last week, if not better than I was last month, if not better than I was last year. So I'm trying to polish it all, my guy.
All right. And another question that Renee threw out there, and he always likes to ask people this, is he wants to know, when you're in the gym and you're banging in the gym, what you got on your playlist?
Night Owl is always getting the music questions every time. He always throws the curveballs.
Okay, well, so I'm a huge anime nerd. So any like anime opening is gonna get my blood pumping, bro, and I'm just gonna like bang it out in the gym. It's either going to be anime or like WWE themes. You know, there's a cross in between them. But ultimately, it's going to be a shuffle, and I guarantee you, most of the time, it's going to be an anime opening.
Let's throw this out there then. Just to cut you off. All right. So what are some go-to wrestling themes that you vibe with? Because like in my case, I don't know if you remember it, Triple H, My Time back in the 90s, before he got the Motorhead theme song, I vibe with it super hard. And then as far as anime openings, I mean, you see, I kind of mess with My Hero Academia. So I'm a huge fan of the OG, The Day Has Come, you know, with All Might standing there. I'm a big Deku nerd. I'm all about growth. So like I vibe with that. But what are some for you? Not to take the question.
Yeah, man. I gotta say, there are some recent like WWE bangers, like Romans or Jey Uso or Jimmy Uso's, maybe Cedric Alexander or Ricochet's that like I'll bang out to, and then you have like some anime ones. I love the first opening of My Hero Academia. I'll do like the Dragon Ball Z Kai opening. The
In English or Japanese?
The English, because I love the don't stop, just like really gets my blood boiling. So yeah, the Yu Yu Hakusho. I'm just like going through all of them. Demon Slayer. I love Demon Slayer's first opening. It always, dude. Yes, Renee, like on the hammer. The first Naruto Shippuden intro definitely gets me going every time. Or Bluebird.
Bluebird. I was waiting for it. This is probably all sounding alien to hardcore house right now.
And Renee also wants to know, what's your favorite old school WWE theme?
My favorite old school WWE theme, I would either give it to D'Lo Brown or Shelton Benjamin. Ain't Gonna Stop Me. Ain't no stopping me now.
And another question Renee normally likes to ask too is, what is something on your playlist that would just totally blow somebody away, that they wouldn't expect to be on your playlist?
Oh man. What's something on my playlist that would blow someone's mind? Cause I don't think I have anything that would really blow people's minds, because I listen to all kind of like genres of music, as long as it hits my ear correctly. Oh yeah, Walk Alone by Batista Do is definitely another one on my playlist. Exactly. Like the moment that part comes, bro, you just like max out hardcore. But I have nothing like on my playlist that would really surprise anyone, unless someone would be surprised by me listening to like Has Been Hotel or Hell of a Boss. I have a few songs from them on my playlist that'll like just pop up out of nowhere. So
gotta ask, because now you throw it out there. Which Has Been song is your favorite? We'll get back to it, but I just got to know, because my fiance loves this. She's actually did a drawing recently for one of our superstars here in the FWWC. So I got to know, because for me, it's either Loser Baby or Poison. I'm all about it.
No, okay, so I'm the same way actually. So my top would either have to be like Loser Baby or Poison. If I can't decide, because like there's so many bangers in that show. I like Respectless. Oh, dude, Hell is Forever. I like that one a lot. Man, I like Out for Love too. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones, and it's so unfair to ask anybody to choose like their favorite Has Been Hotel song. I feel like Has Been did this on purpose.
Renee, that's a bold-faced lie, and you know it. All right. Citation needed.
No. I'm sorry. No offense to the Swifties, but I'm not a Swiftie. No, nothing against nothing against Swift. It's just not my taste. It's not my bread and butter, and I'm a bread and butter guy.
So okay, well, to kind of bring it back, so we were talking about the Purge show coming up, and is there anything else? I mean, I know that let's see, I got a couple other posters here for the Purge. Of course, we have your match. That's the show poster. And there's going to be Max the Impaler from NWA. And they're going to have an epic death match at Purge as well. So, anything else that you may know of that we can look forwards to at the Purge, or anything that you're looking forwards to at the Purge?
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it all in general. Last year, unfortunately, I couldn't be a part of the Purge, so I had to miss out. So being a part of it this year is actually really cool. The Purge is going to be held at the Epic Grand, which the last time we were there for Destiny, it was a huge showing. A lot of people came out to support, and it was just all around a very great show, and it's still being talked about to this day. So the fact that we're coming back, and I get to once again be a part of it, it's going to be a cool experience, especially at this level. I know Erica's gonna bring it. I know Max is definitely gonna bring it. So you better believe, I'm ready to bring it as well. I'm excited in general. You pointed out, you just put it all up there, man. So many stars are gonna be in the building. Athena is gonna be there. She's gonna be taking on Maya World, who is an up and comer. I know they're gonna tear the house down. The epic death match is going to be insane, especially if you know the type of carnage that Sky is known for and Carver is known for. That's going to be sick and twisted. And what was recently announced, a dumpster match between Kari and JoJo the Hobo. I feel like you always have like these candidates for match of the night. I feel like there's gonna be one of those shows to where it's gonna be hard to decide. Whether you know it or not, it's gonna be hard to decide and really tell what's gonna happen, what the outcome is gonna be. I definitely can't wait for it. I'm just urging everyone to get their tickets now. If you enjoyed what we did at Destiny, I'm there's no doubt in my mind they're gonna enjoy the Purge.
Yeah, and of course that show is going to be June 15th. And I don't think I have where it's going to be.
Yeah, it's gonna be at the Epic Grand.
So that'll be June 15th at the Epic Grand will be the Purge. And, Ian seems to think that Max is going to shatter dreams you, and that's what you're looking forwards to at the Purge. So.
Yeah, well, Ian is a gopher, and we don't talk to those. We don't like those. We don't listen to what gophers have to say. My dreams will be very much intact, going in and leaving the Purge June 15th at the Epic Grand in Grand Prairie. So thank you, Ian Gopher Mosley.
So, Gabe, I don't want to take up all the time. I want you to get in a few more questions, because I'm sure you got plenty of questions. I know that you've been, checking out the matches on YouTube, and
Trust me,
and by the way, I want to thank you, because when I went on your Facebook page to check things out and do some research for the show, I saw that you had a link tree. I wish every single superstar would have a link tree. It makes it so much easier when we can look in one place and get all your social media and know exactly where to find it. So thank you for that. But I sent that to Gabe so that he knew where to find everything. So I don't want to take up all the time. So Gabe, go ahead, and if you have any more questions as well.
You already know I do, Haas. Come on. But I wanted to build off of some of the notes I got from Haas here because I'm still relatively new to your career. It says here you were trained by Lou Lamont Williams. It says he's been in the business, or you've been in the business for almost 2 years now. So I want to, we'll come back to that comment in just a second, but because I want you to unpack that for us. But I wanted to ask, what was one of the most important lessons you took away from your training? And in regards to your teacher, how proud of you do you think he'll be right now, given how early you are in your career and yet you're doing so successful? I'd like to hear about
that. Man. Lou has always been like very big on the fundamentals. He's not gonna care how flashy you are or how dazzling, how many flips you can do, in the ring and whatnot. He's always like a big guy on the fundamentals. Want to make sure that your drop kicks look nice. That your punches don't look sloppy. He just wants it all to just be like neat, get the basics down type deal. I would say, I would say that he's pretty like proud of, what I'm doing so far and how far, especially when you see how far I've came from when I first started to where I am now. Lou has always shown like utter faith in me, and I can never thank him enough for giving me, an opportunity to fulfill, my dreams. Lou is a saint. He's as we speak now, he's just constantly churning out, more talent. He genuinely wants to see this sport grow and become something, bigger and better. So I appreciate him for giving me the tools and putting as much faith in me as I put in him to get me to where I am today and hopefully further. I want to give Lou all of his flowers for that one.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you're already having an opportunity to work, NWA, the Purge, a lot of wrestling history there, wrestling with talent like I mean, come on, man, the Impaler, like it just to keep your eyes open for somebody like that, television champion. But I have to ask, any names in the NWA that you'd want to work with in the future? And just throwing it out there because I feel like this is what every wrestler wants to hear. And you mentioned a couple companies earlier. Is there anywhere that you'd love to, that we can see Cvens in the future that you could really aspire for? Like, do we see you in a New Japan? Do we see you in a Ring of Honor? Would we hopefully see you down here in Florida? I mean, I know we got a good scene here in CCW. MLW is coming back there in Tampa. Can we catch you, Cvens, here? Come on. I mean, I know that's a pretty far drive from Texas, but
man, it's just as I've pointed out, before. This is probably gonna be a boring answer, but it's as I pointed out before. Send them all my way. My goal is to be the most brilliant name in the business. And in order to do that, I need to face other brilliant names in the business. To be the best, you have to beat the best. So whether it's in NWA, whether it's in New Japan, whether it's in WWE, Impact, whether it's some very great names still on the independents as we are speaking, I want them all, to bring out the best in me, because I believe that I'm capable of bringing like magic each time I step foot into the ring with anybody I step foot in the ring with. Come one, come all, because I'm waiting.
Fantastic. Well, we're coming down onto that time here in the podcast tonight, Haas. I pretty much wrapped up all my questions. Did you have any extras that we wanted to throw his way before we head into what? Or we'll be good to go.
Well, I know you said you wanted to come back to this comment right here. So, do you have any response for that one?
Keyword mighty, that's actually kind of a compliment. I would rather be a mighty mouse than just a plain old boring gopher. So he wants to see me. He wants to see me against his buddy August. Yeah, again, I have no qualms. Cvens never caves in. You can bring August, September, December, January, bring them all. It'll all end the same, and that's with he who shall be named with his hand raised.
So he does admit though that you have a lot of talent. So and from what I've seen, and obviously I'm up here in West Virginia and Gabe's in Florida, so we've only been able to catch your matches on YouTube and stuff. But from what we've seen, I have to agree that there is a lot of talent there, and we definitely look forwards to seeing where that talent takes you into the future. So
yeah, no, I appreciate you saying that. Hopefully when the time comes, you will see my face everywhere. Not only just here in the great state of Texas, but in Georgia or Florida, or West Virginia,
So we've come to the point where we have what we call the world famous Wrestle Talk podcast game show challenge, where I read clues, and based on those clues, you and Gabe get to guess who the superstar is that is being talked about in the clues. So, as I said, tonight it would be Gabe and you. Would you be interested in the challenge tonight?
I'm not one to shy away from a challenge. So you know what, bring it. Let's do it. I'm game.
All right, because I heard Gabe in the back earlier say that he thought he could take you, and I told him I didn't know about that. I thought you'd be a pretty tough competitor, and I knew you wouldn't back down from the challenge. So this ought to be pretty good.
Why do I get the feeling that we're both about to embarrass ourselves?
The only way we know how as professionals.
So we actually have a bit of music here. So let me go ahead and cue up this music, and we will go ahead and get to the Wrestle Talk podcast game show challenge. Okay, welcome to this week's installment of the world famous Wrestle Talk podcast game show challenge. Tonight's contest is scheduled for the best 2 out of 3 falls. Our contestants are the Wrestle Talk podcast zone, Gabriel Arsene and Delynn Cavens. In a few moments, I will ask you 3 questions about a particular professional wrestling topic. Whenever you think you know the answer to the question, shout out your answer. The first person to win 2 falls will win tonight's game show challenge. Although I am going to make one little adjustment to that, and that will be, let me read the whole question and then shout out your challenge. And we're going to do that because of the lag and echo. That way I have a chance to read the question and take him off of mute. So it's fair for him so Gabriel doesn't take all the answers. So tonight's Wrestle Talk podcast game show challenge category is wrestling nicknames. I will give you a nickname or nicknames of a professional wrestler. when you know the answer, or actually after I finish reading the question, you can shout out your answer. The first person to win 2 out of 3 falls wins tonight's contest. So just give me a chance to unmute him before you shout out your answer, Gabe. So are we okay on are we good on the rules?
I am good. I got you loud and clear.
All right. So question number 1. He went by Canadian Rage, Captain Charisma, the Instant Classic, Captain Charisma, and the Patriarch. Name him.
Christian Cage.
I believe I heard Gabe first on that one. So Christian Cage was the answer.
As soon as I heard Captain Charisma, I knew it.
Question number 2. The Path of Rage, the Orange and Black attack the Human Suplex Machine. Who is he?
Taz.
Taz is correct. All right. Question number 3. This one is for all the marbles. He was called the Rogue Horseman, the Ticking Time Bomb, Flying, and the Loose Cannon.
Brian Pillman.
Brian Pillman is correct.
I knew that one too. I was waiting for you to say name him.
As soon as I heard Loose Cannon.
Cvens has won tonight's Wrestle Talk podcast game show challenge. We have a bit of winner's music here. I gotta find it.
Cavens. 3 cheers for Cavens.
Congratulations, Cvens, on winning the Wrestle Talk podcast game show challenge. Gabe, he got you.
It's just been L's for me in 2024, man. But if I'm going to lose to somebody, I'm glad it is he who shall be named. Don't just say it once, say it twice. Matter of fact, say it 3 times, folks. Cvens, just got to say, man, just before we're wrapping up here, man, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. It really is, opportunity to talk to talent like you. You're a very upstanding gentleman, and I wish you the best in your career, especially because I'm rooting for you. I want to see that TV title, because if we can have you on the show again, I'm sure it's going to look nice on that shoulder. But I wanted to throw out one last question, just because we had mentioned anime and has been. Did we just become best friends?
My guy, I have a rule, man. If you're a friend to anime, bro, you're a friend to me. So yeah, I think we did. I think we did.
So thank you for coming. I want to be the first to welcome you into our Wrestle Talk podcast game show challenge. You are always welcome on the show anytime, and we definitely want to have you back. So before we get out of here, I want you to promise us that you will come back, because I feel like we've just scratched the surface with Cvens. So promise us you'll be back.
You know what, man? I'll do you one better. Not only will I be back, but I'll probably be back. No. Shan't. I will be back as the new NWA television champion.
Well, Cvens, best of luck to you at the Purge, because it's definitely going to be one heck of an event. And, we hope to see you with that strap. And one last thing before we get out of here, definitely tell the people where they can find Cvens, shoot your social media out there and let us know where you're going to be, so people know where can they find you and where can they see you in action.
You guys can follow me anywhere on Facebook, Instagram, or X under the tagline Delyn. It's Hunter X Hunter, DELYNN X DELYNN. And you can find me in action this Saturday at MPX along with this Sunday in Austin at Inspire AD.
All right. Well, definitely, if you have a chance, be sure to get out there, catch Cavens at one of his next shows. Go on Facebook, give him some love on X, and when you get on there, he has a link tree. You can find any one of his socials from that. You can also find his merchandise and his Cash App. So if you feel that you're just generous enough, feel free to send him some money. I'm sure he'd appreciate it. So, any last words for us before we let you go, Cavens?
I have just one. Cvens!
All right. Thank you for being here. It's been a pleasure, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. So thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Cavens, and be sure to catch the Purge on June 15th. That's guaranteed to be a great show, and Cavens might just walk out of that as the television champion, so don't want to miss that. And Gabe, it has been another great show in the books. 484. We are well on our way to 500 and looking forwards to 500. And I just got another bit of breaking news put into our back room. And sources have confirmed that AEW star Jake Hager's contract has recently expired and that he did not re-sign with All Elite Wrestling. It's also noted that the decision was believed to be mutual. So, once again, another one that you heard it here first, folks. Jake Hager no longer with AEW. I mean, I tell you, tonight has just been a night of breaking news. And it has been a great night. And I can't imagine how we're going to top it, but I guarantee you it's going to happen. So, you have any words before we go for us, Gabe?
Well, I want to start by just saying thank you for holding down the fort while I was getting situated, Hardcore Hoss. If it wasn't, for that, we wouldn't, because you're the technical guy here. If it wasn't for that, this show wouldn't even be online right now. We'd still be on our phones talking to each other. So I just want to say thank you for that. Thank you to Cavens for being on the show, man. I'm wishing you all the best in your future endeavors, and I want to see that TV title on you, man. But I also just want to take the opportunity to thank everybody in the audience tonight for watching this. I mean, 484, dude. We're 16 episodes away from 500. If I'm remembering, my math is correct, right? I'm not like botching this.
I believe your math is correct. Now,
okay. I wasn't good with numbers in school, but
I wasn't either. But it sounds about right.
It's insane to think that we've been here, and it's been a while since me and you have been on the show, so it's definitely
it has. But do you realize that we're supposed to do this again next week?
Well, let's do it to it.
So next week, ladies and gentlemen, you should be seeing myself and Gabriel Arsene back here once again, and we will have another very entertaining superstar. This one being a superstar from my area. And we'll be seeing the one and only Axel Crow here, ladies and gentlemen. A superstar that you can see at ATCW, and he's a heck of a talent. So definitely looking forward to that show. And, it's going to be another great night with myself and Gabriel Arsene. And then you'll be seeing me again 3 weeks in a row. I don't know whether that's a good thing or whether that's a bad thing for you guys. However you want to look at it.
Don't sell yourself short, Hardcore Hoss. You are the money. Come on. You got the championship, all right? You're allowed to brag.
So, it's going to be another couple good weeks here. Just looking forward to it. And, in that episode 2 weeks from now, we will be seeing another competitor, Sky Del, I'm going to butcher this, La Cromasa. I'm definitely going to have to find out before that. But he will also be at the Purge. So we will be talking the Purge again that night. So we got plenty of great interviews coming up for you, in the next several weeks, all the way up to 500. Plenty of surprises lined up for 500, and just can't wait. So I tell you what, let's go ahead one last time. We got to hit those sponsors. You want to read them out for us this time, Gabe?
Please.
All right. So here they go.
So as always, folks, the Wrestle Talk podcast would like to thank our great sponsors, Royal Mills Transportation, head by one CEO, DeJuan Mills, Nobleman's Barber Lounge. You can find that at Kansas City, Missouri, Kincaid Arcade at Oak Park Mall, Interstate 70 Sports Media, Little Popeye Designs. It's where you can get your Wrestle Talk podcast tumblers. And as always, the FWWC, the world's premier fantasy wrestling group.
That's right.
Episode 485. That's right. But that's episode 485 or 484 in the books, folks. Corvette's here. Man, it's getting closer, but it's just far enough to make you want it. I'm excited to get there. Filled a whole 2 hours of wrestling. I'm excited, but just throwing it back to you, Haas.
Our crowd tonight has been on fire. Know that they have absolutely loved it, and we need to hear from the fans one time. So, as always, we thank you guys for being here with us. We thank you no matter whether you're catching us live or on that.
They can't be contained, Haas. They can't be contained.
But no matter whether you're catching us live or you're catching us on the replay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Be sure to share our broadcast. Be sure to go on Facebook, go on X, go on all the medias. Be sure to give us a like, give Cvens a like, give NWA a like, give everybody a like. So,
and as always, just love wrestling, folks. You heard it here.
Just love wrestling, and hashtag Let's Talk Wrestling.
You heard it here from yours truly, Gabriel Arsene and Hardcore Haas, head at the Wrestle Talk podcast. And as always, you can catch us every Tuesday night.
So until next week, have a great week, and let's talk wrestling.